Hey guys, star blessings. So I just finished doing two recordings on the Venus, Saturn, Pluto, Lilith transits at the moment, and the focus was on that transit, and it was also on the Dalai Lama's chart. And as I said in that video, it's a really controversial topic, and it triggers a lot of people. And the more I've thought about it, the more I'm actually really glad that I did those videos, because I did them with objectivity, with astrological symbolism, and with compassion, and with an open mind, and with no judgment, and with not declaring one way or another any position that I take. Because I'm not here to publicly judge anybody, actually, first of all. And not only publicly, but in my own private life as well. Not saying that I'm perfect, far from perfect, but I do try to practice that as much as I can. And our greatest teachers are the ones that trigger us the most. And that's why I decided to come back and just speak for a few minutes and just remind us all that when we are so triggered by something we witness, something we observe, something we perceive happening to us or happening out there, then we always need to come back to our own self and ask ourselves the question, why am I reacting in this way? Why am I being triggered? Is it about me, or is it about the person and the situation? I think if we're going to work with astrology realistically, honestly, authentically, and listen to videos and look at charts and have YouTube channels or have Instagram accounts or whatever the hell it is, then we've got to be transparent and honest, right? With everything as much as we can. I mean, I'm a very private person, so I try not to talk about my personal life, and I don't think people want to hear about my personal life anyway. That's not what I created a YouTube channel to share my passion and knowledge and wisdom and understanding of astrology to my own capability. It appeals to some, it doesn't appeal to others. That doesn't really bother me one way or another. I will speak to whoever vibrates with my energy, right? And what I have to say. And I will and have been a person who speaks on controversial subjects, but I do it in a very, in a way that I believe I take a fairly neutral position in most cases. As I have with the Dalai Lama, I didn't take a neutral position when it came to the COVID. I took a position of, I did speak about it astrologically, and I did also share my point of view in a respectful manner, though, understanding that everyone has, their own soul's journey, their own ability to understand, their own ability to perceive, and so forth. And so why am I doing this video? I'm doing it because I've been sitting here reflecting since I did the last two videos, thinking I'm so fearless. I really am. I'm a true Aries. I'm the daughter of Achilles. And I'm not scared to come on and talk about something that's going to upset people. I don't intentionally set out to upset anybody, but I have enough awareness and insight to know that when I talk about a controversial subject, or a subject that doesn't fit within the square, which is the consensus reality perspective, I will attract people that are against that, that have a problem with that are triggered by that, and so on and so forth. And it's none of my business what other people think about me. I actually love that line so much, and I think I heard it from what's his name? Eckhart Tolle. I think I first heard it from him many, 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 many years ago. Such a beautiful piece of wisdom. And it's not reflecting that you don't respect or care what other people think. It's just really reflecting a space of wisdom and understanding in that you cannot control what other people think, what other people see, what other people feel, and nor should you be wanting to control any of that. So I did 2 videos that are on a controversial subject. And as I said, I took the compassionate approach because who am I to make a judgment on an incident that has been, has gone viral in such a negative way? I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying, who am I to make a judgment on that? And who are you to make a judgment on that, for that matter? So I guess I'm seeing a lot of posts by a lot of people in different communities on social media, specifically astrological communities. And I'm talking about astrologers that are very well known, that are publicly known, written books, etc., etc. And I'm kind of flabbergasted by some of the comments that are coming through. It shows us a lot, actually, when a big incident happens externally and we are triggered by that in such a way to come at it firing with fucking machetes and machine guns, right? It tells us a lot about a particular individual or group, whether it's an astrologer or otherwise, right? So I guess what's the moral of this story? The moral of this story is that, and I left this message in part 2 of those 2 videos of the Dalai Lama's chart and just the sky transits at the moment between Venus, Saturn, Pluto, and Lilith. Lilith always activates the suppressed feminine components, both in men and women, that are not owned. That's basically what happens. And that can be that can be superimposed or expressed and manifested through millions of scenarios and situations, but it comes back to that one same thing, and that is our own material that we have either denied, suppressed, are completely oblivious to, right? Because it's unconscious, and that's not a judgment. We all have unconscious material. The fact of the matter is it's about actually 95% of our beingness is unconscious. So we are operating consciously from a very small scale. The behavior, the motivation, the desires is coming from a much deeper place. It's not coming from what we think we know or we think we believe or whatever it is, right? So we've all got a lot to learn and a lot to understand and a lot to discover about the mysteries of the soul, about the mysteries of this existence. And anybody who tells you that they have all the answers is lying to you. No one has all the answers. So I just want to say once again that when a massive thing shows up publicly on that consensus level, our attitude towards that says a lot about who we are. And I always like to come back to Jesus because I love Jesus. And for those of you that don't believe in Jesus, don't care for Jesus, that's fine as well. It doesn't really matter. Jesus is an archetypal level of symbolism and consciousness that speaks to our own Christos, crystalline consciousness within. That's all it is. And so we have these stories through the Bible and a figure that allegedly existed at a particular time and space, which may or may not be true, right? But it doesn't really matter even about that. What matters is, what are the teachings? What are the principles? Do they bring love? And I'm not talking about indoctrinated, institutionalized corporations that have induced guilt, all right? Because it's a whole other stream. I'm talking about pure love, which can come through many different identifications that we may have spiritually or in religious schemes. But at the end of the day, it's inside you and how you are able to show that, live that, be that, walk that, breathe that. That's all it is at the end of the day. It doesn't matter what transpires externally. What matters is how we react and how we respond. That's what says everything about who we are. So I'll leave it there. I'll see you soon.